Oh baby, we got Daggs in the house. DeFi Kingdoms, baby. Kristian Peter in the house. Again, right here, pinned on the chat is the airdrop. Anybody who's in can get a donate 3 airdrop from Duel, thanks to KP, baby. And it also, so you get 5 Duel, and then it also sends 5 Duel to Starbucks. Also, it's Starbucks link. So if you want to donate to the stream, you can also donate, and it goes to Starbucks, baby. DeFi Kingdoms, we got the Seer. What do you guys think? How's it going with you guys?
KP, you go first.
Man, I haven't really used the Seer that much. I always defer to, like, as soon as I've got some alpha from like WowWee or, you know, Sticks Intern's been using him a lot, so he's got way more insight to the Seer than I do. I love my Priest, Archer, Warrior combo. That's what I use to kill the chickens. You know, if I don't have Priest, Archer, Warrior, I usually go with Priest, Warrior. But yeah, it's just like I like to be able to like do my thing and be able to heal my guys. I know some people go in with just Archer, Warrior, or 2 Archers and a Warrior, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm not a potion guy. So when it comes down to it, I want to just be able to heal them as quickly as I possibly can with my Priest. So Seer, I know, has got some healing abilities as well. So I've got to get more into Seer. What about you, Daggs? Are you using the Seer?
Well, I was paying attention to you instead of watching my boar hunt, and we just ate a rampage. But I have a seer who's doing sanctuary, so it doesn't really matter because they all had like 3 turns worth of shields. So I guess that, and it was only from a level 6. So I guess that answers that question. Yeah. But I have like 1 seer above level 12, and I waited until the seer was released to level it up. I did all regular crystals, and it's just the absolute shit. Like, I got a bunch of rolls where it just 4s, 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 and I'm posting them to like the jewelers chat, and like people are getting invested in how bad the hero was. So unfortunately, my 1 seer who's like combat ready kind of sucks, but my 6s and 7s are fighting probably, you know, fighting boars that are like 3 levels higher, and they're holding their own, but also, you know, it's boars. So
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so real quick, if you're new to DeFi Kingdoms, that's what we're talking about. They have the game, the hunts is live. A lot of different aspects of DeFi Kingdoms. They just released the skill codex, like where you can actually use the skills of another hero, the Seer. We're going to be talking on that. Also, shout out here, Givers Gain. Finally, did you guys just start a Crypto Billy and you guys, Billy Goat Tales, create a YouTube channel? I know he was talking about it. Let's go in the house. He donated. Okay. I'm not seeing him come through. I'm pretty sure I've got his widget up here. Okay. I love you guys. Be sure to click that link. Okay. So the Seer, is anybody finding the Seer to be awesome? Or because I know it's a little bit more of a complex, higher strategy, higher skill type hero. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I know that It's Just Crypto. Jess is using him a lot and thinks that it's slowing him down a little bit. He goes in, I think, with the mindset that he's going to win each battle in like 3 turns. I mean, he's just got like everything down to a science. So he kicks ass. And I know the Seer makes him take a little bit extra time because you got to think your way through it, and you got to decide what moves you're going to do ahead of time. You got to channel, you got to do all that fun stuff. I know SI has been using them, having some fun. Other people, I'm not so sure. I haven't seen a whole lot of Seer battles myself, so I'm not sure who is actually getting the best alpha from the Seer right now. I've got to start using mine. I mean, that's the whole trick, right? Is it took me a while to get into the Warrior because the Warrior came out and I was like, I already had my strategy down,
right?
And then now I'm a Warrior fan. I mean, I love the Warrior, and I know the Seer is probably going to do the same thing to me. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to cast my healing spells. I'm going to sit back, meticulously go through these hunts and like try to like pick them apart. That's what I like doing. It's fun. I mean, I get out there for a couple of hours each night and I just enjoy it. I haven't gotten any of these airdrops yet, though. I mean, there's massive amounts of airdrops now. My God, Dax, have you won any of these airdrops?
I haven't. I feel like I haven't won an airdrop since I got like the first day of Clayton airdrops I won, and then I haven't like. And I think I'm doing somewhere between like 10 and 13 hunts a night. So, I mean, there's people out there who are doing like 30, right? I think the first night of Big Red Skiller like showed me like 37 hunts. Um, so it's like I don't even have not gamer numbers. So I don't really. I mean, maybe over 80 days it'll be enough for me to win, but I don't know. I don't know. So
We got all kinds of folks in the house, including majors. Jewel, a good buy at 15 cents. Let me give you a quick. Okay. All right. We'll try to make this quick. Jewel, DeFi Kingdoms. It's one of the best teams, I would say, in crypto. They grinded right through the bear market in spite of all kinds of FUD and all kinds of monster disasters that fell on their heads. They somehow made it through. They keep grinding. And when you look at the tokenomics of Jewel and the tokenomics of all the in-game economy, even of the power tokens like Crystal and a lot of different things, big brains. Jewel is deflationary. It's fully emitted. Okay. And so it is, I mean, it doesn't take much. It won't take much before we see Jewel to the moon. I think Jewel, True Blue, has 1,000x potential. If anything ever has 1,000x potential in this run, I think it's Jewel. So yes, Jewel at 15 cents. Like in my mind, when I think of one Jewel, it's worth $10. Okay.
can I?
And that's
can I
like
jump in on that?
on the low end. Yeah, go ahead. Go.
And Major, Grady's not telling you to buy Jewel. He's saying he's buying Jewel because Grady doesn't give financial advice. So,
Hey, Major, this is financial advice. Sell your kidneys and go buy some Jewel, baby. Let's go.
That's why
All right.
I love Grady streams. But yeah, just a little bit of like factual information for you, Major. The first go round when there was not a whole lot going on in DeFi Kingdoms, you couldn't do much of anything. The token exploded to $1.2 billion valuation, which shot the token up to $22. And then it came right back down again because there was really not a whole lot to do. And now it's actually a lot less tokens out there. So it started off as a $500 million token, or 500 million tokens that were minted, and now it's only 125 million. So they cut the actual total supply, 3/4. So 75% of it's gone, and now it's deflationary. So it's fully emitted, and Jewel's used for gas on DFK chain. I mean, the team has built so many assets over the bear market. It's absolutely nuts. And I know that Zealous says that DFK should just quit and license their IP because it's got hundreds of millions of dollars worth of IP in Web3. But the token itself doesn't show that right now. So it's just some of those things out there to look forward to. But as I always say, find 3 or 4 or 5 projects that you love and follow them and bet on them and, put your money to work. We're in the Web3 space. We're just hitting the very beginning of the bull run, and it's going to be fun for the next couple of months to the end of this year. I think it's really going to be cool to see everything explode. All these projects that are coming in will have that same type of bull mentality. But Grady, I mean, give them a little hint too about like the other tokens. What about Crystal and Jade?
Yeah. So they're all deflationary. Okay. So, and there's high demand. It also is sustainable yield farming. So you can create some liquidity with pairs like Jewel and Ethereum, or even Bitcoin and USDC, Ethereum and USDC. Okay. Those are all options in there. And the token that you're earning is a power token that is also fully emitting and deflationary at the same time. So you don't find that very often in DeFi and yield farming. And there's high demand, and it's also being burned like crazy. Jade is criminally undervalued, I would say. And so it's a great time to summon heroes. This game is so in depth. Who was it here? Somebody said they want to learn this game. Where is that? I thought I saw that. Somebody said they're wanting to learn this game. I think I'm going to do a video and we need to have a really high quality beginner series on this. I think what I will do here within the next week or so is just do a long, all in-depth stream on DeFi Kingdoms. Okay. So at least it's there that if somebody brand new doesn't know anything about DeFi Kingdoms could come in and totally wrap their mind around everything, at least to the point of summoning, the heroes, the pets, the genes, which is they're the most in-depth NFTs in all of crypto. Okay. Code base. They're the most complex NFTs in all of crypto. So big brains. It's awesome. Everything about it's awesome. When you look at the charts, it doesn't look so good. That's because we've gone from 55,000 daily active users down to like a couple few hundred at best daily active users, I would say. And so it doesn't matter how good the tokenomics are and everything. When you have that kind of thing happen, and we had the bridge hack, we had false FUD against the team, different things. We had then another bridge hack with Clayton, just all kinds of headaches that they've run into, and they still keep getting through it. And they just have, huge partnership with Metis. They're building out their PvP Coliseum. There's lands. It's like an extensive metaverse. This ecosystem will make your head spin for days, baby, as we dig in. But I'm going to try and do like a 2 to 3 hour deep dive into the basics of the game. And then the gameplay itself is a separate video there that maybe I'll do with somebody like with you guys, Bob Nothing, who's in the house. It's just crypto, baby, right here, dropping a video. Let's go. Okay.
Yeah, Grady's got a nice 4-hour video too for you, so you can watch him and Dreamer and Crypto Crow as they take Crypto Crow from from newbie all the way through to buying a couple of Gen Zeros. So put it on 2x speed, watch it in an hour and a half, and go through that entire thing. And then if you want any type of community video content that's out there, Daggs and Mega get on every week on Saturday. They talk about what they're doing summoning wise, what they're doing hunt wise, all the different things that are going on inside the realm. Sergeant Filthy McNasty's got a great cast that he does, the Candor Gander, every Friday, well, almost every Friday evening, but gets a ton of great people out there talking about what their favorite thing is to do inside the realm right now. Right now, my favorite thing is definitely got to be hunting, but summoning always falls up there as well. So you're going to want to summon heroes together. You want to try to create these monsters that you can use in PvP. I know that Daggs and Mega go after some of them as well. Daggs, what are some of your insights right now into the game? Obviously, with the prices as cheap as they are, you guys are looking for monsters, right?
Yeah. So I'm actually I was trying to stash Duel, but now I'm just I just went full on summoning right now, because I kind of think if when the prices go up, if this game hits or whatever, it's gonna be easy to get Duel. You just need money. The hard part is going to be to get those awesome heroes. And it's kind of weird getting these heroes because I know I'm going to burn them all later when they're because that level 100 bonus is insane, right? +6 to 2 stats, +12 to another stat, or what is it, 3 and, yeah, I think it splits between the two heroes. I think it's 6, 3, and 3, but then you have that from 2 heroes. And then, you can't... It's like Greater Stones, man. All you have to do is get a hero to 100, which with hunts, I mean, I didn't imagine I would go from 12 to 18 as quickly as I did. So, but... Nice. And I kind of think one thing that's really going to pull people in is, I'm thinking about, when you start playing Final Fantasy or something like that, they have those level 2, level 1 tutorials where they kind of bring you in and you can only use 2 of your 4 moves, and they're kind of this is how you use this move, this is how you do that move, and then this is how you level up, and they give you a level 2 hero just so that you can level them up and get used to that and throw a crystal at you. And then once you kind of have a taste, you can dive in more, more deeply. Just kind of the low level hand holding. I think that would be kind of cool, but until then, it's going to be up to the community to kind of build these videos.
Right. So there's short form that, will catch people's attention. But man, a deep dive. I loved all those deep dive videos 2 or 3 years or 2 years ago or whenever it was when we first got into the game by none other than KP, baby. So, man, lots of good things going in the ecosystem, including all these giveaways for those who are playing the game, the boar hunts. There's currently 9 different separate giveaways. We got the honk giveaway going on. Big Red with AVAX. All right. So, and DFK chain, by the way, is an Avalanche subnet. So they made a connection with Big Red, Moon Daddy, who's also with Kulo. Okay. Through the IFC with Karate Combat. All right. Because we fought there. We made these connections. Lots going. I'm very bullish on Big Red. And that's so cool. There's like 5 winners of Big Red every day, right? KP.
Yeah, that's right. You've got pretty close to what, probably $200 or $300 worth of tokens. And I think Daggs mentioned, him winning Clayton. I actually won one of the Clayton ones as well, which I think was like $300 worth of Clayton, which was nice because that supports my hunting habit here for the last couple of months, as I just converted it into crystal and gold, and now I just use that for the hunts. And it's just it's cool to win these raffles, and then you also too get a loot drop when you least expect it, and it'll usually just hit you and you'll be like, oh shit, I forgot that they had bunny ears, I forgot that they had Goraxes, and you get that surprise loot drop and you're like, wow, this kicks ass. It's just it's some of those things that they've built into the game. I've never seen an Excalibur, but I know, was it J-Dub who's got 2 now? That's nuts.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild.
And just for you guys that don't know, those Excaliburs are like, they were selling for $2,500, $2,600 US. So like, I forget how much they were, but do you know, Dags, how much those things are going for?
I think J-Dub was shopping one of his, and people were saying like he was getting offered like 700. I think one of them just sold for like 650. But yeah, it's crazy. Now, one thing with the bunny ears though is, isn't it like if you don't hit on loot, there's kind of like something in the back end that increases your chances of getting loot in the future?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure there is a feature like that they mentioned. And so does the bunny ears reset that clock? So are the bunny ears keeping us from getting rare gear? Hot take. But I love them. The speed increase, I've seen a 1% increase. I have a 1.5% increase. I'm looking to see if anybody gets a 2. Free speed, baby.
Exactly. Get that free speed. And also, you're looking at all these loot drops. I've got bunny ears on my 3 top heroes that I have going into the hunts, and I also have got some Doug Hype Vizzies on them as well. So I have the fur coats and the bunny ears on them, so I keep them kind of separated from everybody else. But yeah, it's fun to dress up these heroes, and now you can get that big red bear head. I haven't gotten any of those yet, but I want to get some of the TD tokens so I can start using them on AVAX. And some of these things like the loot drops or the sponsored Vizzies, you get, I think it's $15 worth of TD tokens for every $10 you spend. So you're actually making money from them. It's pretty.
Is that live? Is that live yet?
It is live. Yeah.
Ooh, when did that go live?
On Friday.
Oh, it's all that quick. Okay, so here's the deal. You can go buy visages, or it's like skins in the game in the tavern. You go buy them $10, right? In this case, for Big Red. Okay, $10. I think that's how Doug Hype's been injected into the game as well. His Vizzy period just ended. Okay, and so right now you can buy Big Red Vizzies.
Pull me up. Pull my screen up.
Yeah. Okay, let's go. There it is. And when you buy it, you're going to spend $10 in buying the Vizzy. You're going to get at least $10 back in Big Red token for buying the Vizzy. And it may well be 12, 15 plus dollars, depending on, we might have a bunch more people buy this time. What do you think? I'm going to go buy a bunch. But even if it's just 1-to-1, you spend $10 on a Vizzy and you get $10 worth of Big Red, it's well worth it, because then you still have the Vizzy, so that you can always resell. So, man.
And one thing I was wondering with the Doug Hype Vizzy, you had to buy the whole set. I've said this before. I think if I could buy the shades separately from like the jacket, I probably would have bought like triple the amount of shades that I actually did. So I don't know if there's something you could bring back to the team. I mean, KP, if you got something sweet like those shades, split them up and see, at least for research purposes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of these things I think are fun to piece together. You can put together these amazing outfits, and I know that some people I've seen out there, Just has got some of them, and Sticks Intern's got some as well, where they've just put together these teams that look super cool, with fishing rods as weapons and all kinds of other stuff. And I just think it's going to be fun to go into PvP, because you're not going to know what the other person's got. You don't know what kind of armor they're wearing. You don't know what kind of weapon they've got. You're just going, you're kind of going in blind, that you're going to have to fight somebody that's got all these different things going on for them. They might, I mean, yeah, they might just have like different weapons, different armor that you don't know what they're actually, all the people that you're going against are using. So it's going to just make it that much more of a challenge, and they're going to look cool doing it. It's less like it's got a dual purpose, dual threat going into these fights. But yeah, I love all the different Vizzies. I at first I was kind of skeptical. I was like, yeah, I'm not a big fan of skins, but I love the Karate Geese. The Champions Geese, my favorite one. I love the what is it, the Plague Mask? Yeah, the Plague Mask is my second favorite. But yeah, some of these things look really cool. What about you, Grady? Are you getting some of these Vizzies?
I
Are you
have
out there
been.
buying some TD right now?
I have been. Yeah. Yeah, I certainly have been. I love it. I think it's a great partnership. I'm really bullish on Big Red, right? George is talking about it. Avalanche, they've got the community token fund of $100 million. And what do you think? Avalanche came out of Cornell University. The Big Red, it is the bear that's unofficially the Cornell University mascot. Okay. And they've got an official partnership with Cornell University. They're doing scholarships from the 1% of their 1% of the trading fees, of all those trading fees back and forth, is going to scholarships at Cornell University. So what do you think? You think Avalanche is going to bring that on as, part of their $100 million meme token fund? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. They're doing all the right things, all the right moves. They're totally passion driven. They're not looking at the 5 minutes in front of their face trying to make a quick buck. It's long-term vision of Big Red. I love the team. I love those folks. I'm very bullish. It's an easy play. Regardless, I bought a little bit more yesterday. So just like same with Kulo, we have so many big influencers talking about these coins. Man, I love it. And I'm just waiting. I think the day will come when DeFi Kingdoms really has its day as well. All right. I know it's been tough. Anybody who's kind of faithfully endured this bear market within DeFi Kingdoms, it's been a brutal bear market. So, but man, I would call it a once in a lifetime opportunity project. It's a once in a lifetime type project. Once you really dive in, get in the weeds, this game, I love talking about it. We could talk for hours. It'll make your head spin. Baby, let's go. So, but I have not been playing the game as too much
Well,
yet.
one thing we definitely need to hit on is the new duels. The strategy is going to come out here pretty soon on what to do. I know Daggs and Mega going to host the Jewelers Joust coming up. I know Emerson's going to do the Pink Slip duels. There's going to be so many cool things. Just reading over the release notes today, the keepsies to me was like the most intense one, where if you play against another player, you can play for keeps, and whatever you've got on that hero or heroes when you go in, the other player gets. So if you've got equipped like really cool equipment, if you've got a mythic pet, if you've got Vizzies, all of it goes to your opponent, whoever the person is who wins. So, I mean, you could be playing for like Mythic Dread Knight that's got a mythic pet, and you're talking like thousands of dollars here that that you have at risk in these duels. What are some of your thoughts? I mean, are you guys excited about this, Daggs? When's the Jeweler's Joust coming out?
I got numbers from Mega. I'm gonna read the exact text so I don't mess this up.
Okay.
Here we go. Grady, do you know about the Jeweler's Joust?
Tell me more. I want to hear.
So, Mega was just talking to me one day, and he's like, "Hey man, I got this idea." He's like, "I want to build like a website where people can all the guilds can just shit talk at each other, and then it'll have links to all the guilds and all the resources and all the apps, and then and he's like, you know what? I want a leaderboard on there. Let's do a duels league." So that's where just kind of Jeweler's Joust came out of. We were looking for he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna make a league where it'll be, I think it's gonna be like tournament style, where you have 24 hours to shoot your duels out, and you face everybody in the league in that sprint. And then he has a nice point system. But the catch is you can only use certain types of heroes. He has this triple wheel where one of them puts rarity restrictions, one of them puts level restrictions, and one of them puts class restrictions. So it's like the first wheel might be like commons and uncommons only. The second wheel might be like you have to use a hero less than level 5, or the sum of your heroes has to be less than or equal to 23 of all their levels. And then like the third wheel can like say like advanced only, basic only, codex only, anything goes. And the whole point is that if the roles might create a situation where like new players can be in that sprint for the league as well. So it's like you're not facing level 20 Dread Knights the whole time, which they tried to do with this new 5-hero pack.
Yeah.
Where you take
5v5 back.
Yeah, and
the
there's
new
penalties
mode
for repeats. One of the things though is I kind of had it set in my heart that like keepsies, you wouldn't give them your equipment. I thought it was just for the heroes. So it's like now for Emerson's tournament, the Pink Slips tournament that he's going to be coming up. I didn't even read the league stuff. I got so excited and ahead of myself. Let me read the Jeweler's Joust stuff.
Okay. Yeah, let's go.
All right, so he said sign-up period is going to be Wednesday, April 24th through Saturday, April 27th. So you got a few days to sign up. And then pool play is going to start the next day, Sunday, the 28th through Friday, May 3rd. And then the following Sunday, 5/5, that's the Jeweler's Joust tournament. So I think, if I remember correctly, you do the league play to establish your ranking, and then that sets the bracket, and then the bracket is tournament play. And like we're giving an extended time period to do your duels so that the guys in Europe, the guys in Asia, they don't have to wake up early. They can set their duels and do them when it's convenient for them. So, and then Trade Room's going to he's going to pull some matches and announce them because he said he wants to be the Joe Rogan of DFK. So hopefully, I mean, maybe with this Karate Combat partnership, maybe he can become, maybe he can get some opportunities or something. Or the Wisdom Gaming, they have a freaking esports arena, right? Maybe he can get himself out there and pull the DFK card. And, I mean, there's some good opportunity for him if he really wants to do that. So, but yeah.
Well.
And then I think we're going to use not deathmatch. I think we're going to use keepsies for the pink slip parts of Emerson's tournament, which would be interesting because that means if you win a round, you get the equipment and the pets.
Ooh.
Let's go.
But I haven't talked to him too much. I don't know what he's decided about that. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm jazzed. I'm excited. If you can't tell.
Let's go. All right.
Yeah,
Man.
I know people are looking forward to duels. I mean, there's so many people that duel out there. I'm not a big dueler myself, but I mean, after talking to Karakid about it, I mean, he is like such a big fan of duels. He's like, I make so much money off of all the greater stones and greater crystals and everything else. And I know that everybody in the community's been, whining about like, oh my God, greater stones cost me like $50 or whatever. I mean, it seems like they've gone up in value so much, but the simple fact of the new duels coming out, and it's now perpetual. So that's the cool thing about it as well, is there's never going to be another lapse of like seasons. I don't know how long they're going to have in between seasons. I think it's still going to be about 2 weeks, but it's going to be set in the contract. So everybody will know, okay, season 8 starts now, season 9 starts now, so you don't have to worry about it anymore. And, Fox has always been adding to the duels as we go. It's like his baby. He loves, creating these duels, these systems that are, continually get more and more intricate, more and more detailed. I mean, he's got like all the numbers worked out now. So he's tried to like make them as fair, but yet, as difficult as possible so that people can go through the ranks and continually, make their way through it and hopefully get to the point where they feel comfortable that they've made it all the way to the top. And some people are just, they're the grinders. They get in there and they just grind every single day, more than hunts. I was just like, man, I didn't know there was people out there doing it. So it surprised me when I saw like how these people are grinding the duels every single season to get to the top of them. And I was kind of shocked at that. But at the same time, I'm thinking like, how's PvP going to be? I mean, these guys are going to be grinding it out to get to that very top of the leaderboard so that they can win, that tournament in PvP when the stakes are not like for crystals or crowns or whatever. It's for money. You know, they're doing it for like thousands of dollars or whatever the sponsorship is for that time. It's just going to be really cool to see them.
Yeah. Wow.
And
Yeah.
that point is what tells me I'm not a professional DFK player because I can't even like I come in like the last month of duels and I just sweep myself up through legendary up to legendary 3.
Yeah.
And they said that they've removed that mechanic so you can't do it, but I've totally done it like the last like 4 seasons.
I think Daggs, you and I both do the brown gent. You know, we go in there the last 2 weeks and we try to get as high as possible, get as many stones and crystals as possible. But yeah, I mean, grinding it the entire way. I find that if I start at the beginning, I still only get to that like probably legendary 3 or maybe possibly mythic 1, but I can't get any higher than that.
Mm-hmm. And I don't have any level 20 heroes, so it's like, how am I supposed to compete on that level?
I remember one time I was top 5.
Nice.
One of the seasons. That was back in the day. It was fun. Huh. Yeah, it's getting interesting.
Get it back. You could get it back.
Yeah, man.
Grady's gonna flip a switch and he's just gonna become a PvP machine.
That's what happens. I flip a switch.
He's gonna get fired from like all his jobs and he's like, sorry man, like I was born in DFK, I will die in DFK, and Grady's gonna
like look out, boys and girls. Well, and also, so here's the deal too, is I've been summoning a lot. And and I keep scheming and refining my strategy and approach here to end up getting a double, triple, or even quadruple mythic or legendary dread knight. Okay, so it's like, but man, it's been fun. I keep scheming strategies. But one thing I noticed, even leading right up to the stream, I'm almost sure when you summon, it's like I was thinking I gotta talk to Hubert on this, like, because I've done so many summons. I went dozens of summons with multiple quadruple mutation possibilities. I pretty much all of them were quadruple mutations potential and not one mutation in dozens of times in a row.
Wow.
You're preaching to the choir, my good man.
And I get it. I understand variance and rugging, but this was like, nah, it's impossible. It's like to have that many in a row. And I almost wanted to just keep confirming it in my mind. So I just kept summoning and summoning and summoning and summoning. And every single time there was not one mutation. I'm like, okay, there's a bug, or maybe I summoned too many times. I don't know what it is, but it's like all the more concern.
I've dark summoned 8 like priests.
Yeah.
So 4 in a row and didn't get a priest until the 4th one.
Well, I mean, I've been like I've experienced monster rugging, but I'm talking like 50 or 60 summons in a row with quadruple or even 5 or even 6. Sometimes I get the main class, subclass, and all 4 abilities, mutations, and dozens, like 40, 50, 60, 70 even in a row, that with not one mutation.
Yeah.
That's
like, wait, okay, something's off right now.
I know exactly what you're talking.
That's definitely a lot. I don't usually do that much summoning with other than my Gen Zeros, but my Gen Zeros all have at least 2 matching genes pairs, and one has a matching subclass. I find that I get that matching subclass just about as much as I get the genes. I don't know. I mean, I think that the odds are about the same, if not the same. But yeah, it's just like there can be weeks that go through, and I've got 6 Gen Zeros, and I do 3 summons every 3 days, and I won't get an advanced gene. Then all of a sudden I'll get 2, and sometimes I'll get 3, and I'll be like, wow, I got a Gen 1 10 of 10 with 3 advanced genes. That's like a monster hero. So it's completely RNG, but I get you too. It always seems like when I get those really good mutations, they're always on commons. I can't seem to get that mythic one that has
Together,
all the
right?
mutations as well. That one always pisses me off.
Yeah, I know. So I experienced mega RNG with rarity, with everything. I'll like go 100 summons without getting a legendary or mythic, and then all of a sudden it's like 3 out of 5 summons are a mythic.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I'll go on a dry spell on hitting advanced, or elite abilities, and it's like, man, I'm not hitting on these, and then all of a sudden, boom, I start nailing a bunch. It's like so random, but this is like today. I'm just speaking only for today, and just like later today, like before the stream, I was doing a bunch of summons, and it was like, nah, something's off here. Something's not right. It's like I get bad RNG, but this is like impossibly bad RNG, and it's like basically impossible. I did so many summons. I was like, man, no, there's something off here.
Yeah.
So
because it's like if you have the gene already, it's got a 37.5% chance
right,
to be
I
passed
had
on.
a
And
couple of those. I
Yeah.
don't normally do that, but I even had a couple of those in the mix of that, but I'm just talking minimum. Basically, it's a minimum of 4 mutations possible, and on every single summon for like 50 summons in a row, and not hit one all of a sudden, like that type of dry spell.
God, I feel
So-
like you're gonna do a crazy summon now.
So I think like, yeah, taking a break. I'm like, I don't know. Do I just need to take a break? Have I done too many here lately or something?
Sir Worm agrees with me here. It's like, yeah, whenever you get those really good mutations, those elite genes usually show up in your comments. It always pisses me off. But yeah, I know Beav is always pushing, heroes in the pit. Sticks Intern still cracks me up with his meme of the dude from Saturday Night Live. All heroes must go in the pit. If they don't have 60 decks, they must go in the pit.
It's just crypto. It's just crypto did a stream here, or did a video here recently on like summoning is broken on Serendale, because of the price of jade. And that's kind of what I've been saying. It's like practically free to summon. And I commented on the video and said, I'm going to fix the problem. I'm going to do 1 million summons by myself and throw them all in the pit, baby. Problem solved.
Yeah.
Let's go. Okay, that was a joke, but doing a bunch.
Yeah, I'm looking for something stupid to do right now.
So, okay, Hercules. I saw a message last night that they're finally launching their whatever APR rewards, as if they hadn't been. Okay, and I was like, that's what I wanted to hear. So there's some other released APR. There's going to be additional APR added, was my takeaway. And he said it would happen today, but I haven't seen it happen. Have you?
No, I haven't. But they did launch their token. I know that. Did you guys claim yours? You guys got into the whitelist, right? The public sale.
Yeah, but did you buy any?
I bought a little bit, but I didn't get. I mean, I after seeing all the stuff that was completely effed up, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna let go some of the stuff. I know that who was it? One of the guys who won the whitelist spot on my stream with Patrick from Hercules, he got $1,500 allocation, and I was happy for him to get that. But I also too wanted to see. I felt like it would do the same thing as Camelot. I talked to the Brown Gent about it a little bit. It stayed the same for about a month or so, and then as soon as people could start getting pretty decent sized rewards, that's when it started to go up. People were buying Grail and they were staking it so they could earn those fees. And it looks like the Camelot, or not the Camelot, the Torch token right now is trading at $1.96. So, it's it opened up at 167. Is that what you guys? Was it $1.67?
It's just crypto right here. It's just crypto. Put in a ticket, and he was able to buy it at whatever the 90 cents.
Okay.
And so but see, he hit me up today, and I need to get in there. I forgot to respond. Actually, I just wasn't sure if I wanted to do it or not, but it sounded like might still have that opportunity since I qualified for the whitelist spot on the first one, and so did you, KP.
Mm-hmm.
So you might be able to get some at that if you put in a ticket. So, and it sounded like he'll like retroactively let me buy it at that price.
Probably.
But I don't
I
know. I
think it
didn't
is.
follow
I
up.
think it's over the counter. So
Yeah.
J-Dub was supposed to be in like stage 1, and he didn't even get into stage 3.
Okay.
So he put in a ticket, and then they gave him an allocation that he was able to buy over the counter. He could probably comment better on that than I could, but yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it sounds like they're looking to make things right
Okay.
via over the counter.
It's
So,
just crypto clarified. I thought I could have swore he said he bought some at that first stage.
Well, the stages came in, but you didn't actually close on the purchase
Oh.
until the day that you got it. So it had to get sold out first before the pricing came in. But now the pricing's in. Now those APRs can actually reflect that. So if the token price goes up for Torch, because X Torch is the main token that gets emitted on these Genesis pools, then the APRs will change. So
Okay.
I don't know when they're going to be reflected, though. They always say one thing and they don't do it. That's the thing that pissed me off. I was trying to figure out like the alpha pools, and I couldn't figure them out. I couldn't really make a good video about it. You know, Genesis pools came up, and I was like, damn, it's really hard to figure this. I think, Daggs, you and I chatted in the Discord for like, I don't know, like 20 different messages going back and forth. Like, how the hell do I get my money into this damn Genesis pool? So yeah, I knew it was going to be hard for people to do.
I mean, it was positive for me because I hadn't spoken to you a lot, and I felt like I got a bunch of one-on-one time with you, and then I was in there at like 1:30 in the morning waiting for them to correct me from stage 3 to stage 2, and the Brown Gent jumped in, and I got a bunch of one-on-one time with him.
There you go.
So, I mean, I got some networking time with people I don't usually get to talk to.
Baby.
And they fixed my problem. So, and
Okay.
like, I was kind of a jerk when I first saw that I was like stage 3. I was all mad in my ticket, and I'm like, you know, and then I kind of thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? I think I am just spoiled by DeFi Kingdoms releases and how there's like minimal issues. And I was like, so I need to just kind of like redo how I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And I went in, I think I had like 2 tweets where I was pissed off. I just deleted them and replaced them with like, oh, thanks for the team for making, like before they even fixed me. I'm like, thanks for the team. I had some initial issues, but they fixed it and made it all right. And like,
Okay.
I'm like, they don't need me being an asshole, right? Is this a family? Am I allowed to swear in here? They don't need me being a jerk. You know,
You're
they got
fine.
enough going on. But it was like they had their whitelist going, and there was like 1 dev. And I was like,
so
Beetle Dude wouldn't sleep if this was going.
oh my gosh. Yes, it is kind of a mess. You know, it's like they keep, you know, it's just a headache.
That's
with
not
all
a
that.
dig on them. That's a compliment to DFK.
Right. Right.
It is, you know, and Grady, you've lived through so many launches on different Web3 projects and NFT mints and all the shit that goes on with, you know, anytime a new project launches or an NFT gets minted, there's always issues. Do you guys remember back when Crystal Veil came in? We need to bridge our X Jewel and Jewel over so that we could form that initial liquidity pool, and Synapse Bridge like went completely kaput, you know, for like 24 hours. Everybody was like, my jewel's not showing up. And the team was just like, finally Frisky was like, I'm going to give you guys an extra 48 hours, and we're going to retroactively make all of the rewards that you would have gotten active. So we got a bunch of extra locked crystal and stuff from all that. But yeah, the team's always made it right whenever there's been an issue, even if it wasn't their issue. Like it was Synapse's Bridge's issue because so much traffic was coming across to get to the subnet. But yeah, it's like every Web3 project that you're ever in, you can expect there to be delays and problems. And I know you've probably seen them, Grady.
It's a mess every time.
Yeah.
I know. It's like with everybody, everywhere, all the time. Everything, everywhere is always a mess. So, yeah, I'm just so used to it. Yeah, and so it did cause me to have pause, though, because it was a strange launch. I'm still bullish, and it's probably going to be good. I think it'll, you know, I still got all that liquidity in there. And, you know, with Jewel and Metis, I've got some Ethereum USDC. I've got some USDT, USDC in there, and I think it'll probably be successful, but I'm just not sure because every single step this whole entire time has been kind of a blunder. So, but again, right, I'm used to it. So I didn't even, it doesn't even bother me. I'm just kind of like, well, maybe I won't get into this one. I'll wait because I'm earning the torch anyways, right? So,
Right. Right. I think Six Intern hit it the nail on the head. I still have PTSD from the bear market.
right,
So, I look for reasons for there to be problems. And
right,
when I see one, I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to stay away. That's a red flag. But you guys remember when it was a bull market, it didn't matter how long. It took me 24 hours to bridge my Ethereum to the chain that shall not be named.
yeah,
And, I thought it was gone. I thought that my like 10 ETH was gone. I was never going to see it again. And when it finally showed up like a day later, I was like, praise Jesus, I've got my money. I can go play this DeFi Kingdoms. I can put my money in this damn, garden for figure this crap out over on this chain that I was like, I was sure it was a rug pull, and here we are today talking about, how far the project's come and what's gone on over this entire time. But yeah, we've had to deal with all this crap. I mean, what's the worst thing that you've had to deal with, Daggs? I know this is really giving you appreciation though for how easy it is in DFK to
right,
get your money in and out of the gardens and stuff, right?
right. For sure. No, I've been through so much hell. I wouldn't even know how to answer that. Dags, you got one? I mean, I could
Well,
give you
I
a
gotta
lot.
say something.
Yeah.
Harmony.
Right.
We still have Harmony maxis with us. We can say the word.
No.
Harmony,
No.
harmony, harmony, harmony.
Okay.
The worst thing I've had, honestly, guys, DFK is my first crypto experience besides buying Doge on Robinhood.
Okay.
So I
You don't have a whole
have
lot.
none of this. I don't have any nightmares. I mean, I've read about it on Twitter, but
So what you're saying is that we need to get Jewel on Robinhood, and then we're good to go.
no, I'm just saying like this was DFK's my first actual crypto experience.
Yeah,
because-
no, but it was crazy because Robinhood lists coins like Doge that has no value whatsoever, and it shoots up to the moon, right? It's now like what $3 or $4 billion valuation, and we can't get Jewel on, like any of these exchanges that, it should be listed on. And the couple that we do is great, but yeah, the whole point is like to make these things easy for people to go out and buy. It's still so hard. Grady, you talked about it when we first came in. We've got to do these beginner videos to get people into the game and to show them what to do. And it's still, even for people that have MetaMask or crypto native, they're still like confused, right?
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
no.
not just that though. I tried to get my brother into DFK. Like I sent him a couple Jewel, a couple Crystal, just to pick up like 3 heroes or whatever. And he's like, "You mean I have to pay anytime I want to do something in this game?" And he's like, I'm just gonna go play Ark." I'm just like, "Okay, man. Yeah. I mean, what do you say to that, right?"
Yeah. I think we've hit the point now where the people that love the game are playing the game, which is kind of cool. I mean, the people that came into DFK when we first started were people like me. I saw, 20,000% APR, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to bridge my money over here because everybody else is making these entirely fat bags on these pools, on these reward pools. And then all of a sudden they launched these heroes, and I was like, I don't want to buy another NFT, and then all of a sudden the NFTs were worth $100,000, and I was like, oh my God, I missed out on that. And then everything went up, and I was just like, okay, great. And then when everything crashed back down, it's like, okay, if you really like the game, I forget who it was in Twitter, but somebody said, I love the prices where they are because I just like playing the game, summoning heroes, doing these quests, and everything's super cheap now, and I can go out there and do that. So screw what the prices are. I'm just having a fun time going out there and doing my thing. That was you, Dax?
It's a gamer's game right now.
Yeah.
It's I can make the best things in the game for no money. And it's a gamer's game, not an investor's game, and there's kind of that divide, right? Like I still remember being at a bar with Squanchy and Agentic, the first time Jewel went down to 25 cents, and we were drinking, eating, and just watching the chart, and I'm like, guys, I gotta go, and they're like, what? I'm like, this is gonna hit 25 cents. I'm gonna go home and buy thousands of Jewel, so. And it's like, I don't think of Jewel in terms of dollars. I think of it in Like, I don't think of crystal, and I don't even know how much crystal costs, because I know it just costs 60 for me to do a summon, Gen 0 summon. So none of this has any monetary value to me right now. It's literally just a video game. And that's why I don't hold more than like 1,000 jewel, because I'm gonna spend it all on summons. I'm gonna spend it all on hunts. I'm gonna spend it all on duels, because it's just a video game currency in my head. Like, it's like WoW Gold. If you could never sell it, it doesn't mean anything to me. And like, the amount I buy is just a monthly subscription. Um, so like, I don't know if I'm insane, but like, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, you want to make money?" Like, that's a byproduct to me. Like, I don't care. I don't care right now. I want to get the best. I'm playing a video game. I don't, and like, yeah, they were talking. They're like, "What's your play? LP? You stacking jewel? What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just buying heroes. Like, that's I'm just buying heroes, making heroes, burning heroes. I just want to fight."
I love it, man. I love it. I love it. So just to clarify, I think there will be additional rewards coming, right, KP? Because that was my understanding the whole time, and especially after yesterday's. They messaged somewhere, either on Discord or on Twitter or somewhere, that there's going to be the rewards will now show.
Additional rewards, no, but the price of torch will be reflected in the APR.
Okay.
So the X torch has always been in the pool itself, but I don't think that has been reflected as a farming APR. Also, too,
Okay.
I don't think, and I don't quote me on this, I don't think that the locking rewards are there, because I locked up some of my LPs and I did it so I could get 2x on my rewards, and I haven't seen that reflected yet either.
I know. So yeah, farming rewards start tomorrow at 11 Eastern time.
Yeah.
There it is. So it's like, wait, farming rewards haven't even been there this whole time. And so my question would be like, why didn't they kind of explain that? I was kind of hollering about that from the rooftops. That's what I would have been doing is, hey guys, this is going to be big. It's, for whatever reason, it's not showing now, but it will later.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and the pool, I mean, it's funny because the pool on Metis is actually the largest liquid pool that's out there. So people want to buy Jewel now. It's the easiest and it's the least slippage to go out there and use it. And everybody who's staking there gets a portion of it. So, the rewards is actually pretty cool. And I'm hoping that when, PvP starts and people are actually using Jewel and they're doing their thing on Metis, that people will be getting fees from it. It could be 10, 15, 20% from all the exchanges that are going on, all the DEX fees. And, they're getting money for staking their Jewel, because, right now it's like, okay, the gardens aren't really yielding a whole heck of a lot, but if you can stake your Jewel and get like 10%, that might lead to a bunch more people buying Jewel, pairing it up with Metis and just sticking it in the pool and making 10% on it.
Yeah, right. And so they maybe could have done a little bit better job kind of explaining that, but that's okay. So hopefully they kind of sort out some of these issues and learn from it. And but we see this over and over again where, it's just, everything's kind of a mess out there usually. So, right.
I felt like part of it was the communication too, because like I went in and I was like, all right, I'm whitelist spot 1, right? I put 500 in for the Genesis pools, and they were like, oh no, you had to lock it for a month. And I was like, oh, okay, well, at least I locked my alpha pools for 4 months in a day, and you guys said the alpha pool, or no, switch that. So I bought the alpha pool, and I did the 500. I was above 500 the whole time, and I was like, great. Only locked it for 7 days. Turned out you had to lock it for a month. Okay, maybe I didn't read. And then I was like, okay, I'm not gonna make the same mistake with the Genesis pools. So I did like the Jewel and the Metis, and I put like $300 in. I locked it for 4 months in a day, and I kept asking people, what's the minimum? Nobody's answering me. I'm trying to read the documents. I can't find it because I read it in 8th grade level. And then when I was like, okay, why aren't I in whitelit, or why aren't I in stage 1? They're like, well, you did a mix of all the right things, but you never did the right thing.
Yeah.
And so you're in stage 2.
Yeah.
The documents were very bad.
Okay.
I think you're reading at a college level, probably graduate level when it comes to their documents, because they didn't have anywhere in there that if you locked, you got a whitelist, or what stage of white. They just said whitelist. There was no stages when they first talked about it. They said you'll get a whitelist spot. So I figured every whitelist spot was the same. If they had said, oh, you need to do this to be in stage 1, this to be in stage 2, and by the way, we might sell out by stage 1 or stage 2, and if you get to stage 3, you're lucky. I didn't know any of these things either, and that's why it's really hard to tell people, like, I'm going to make a documentary video that like shows people step by step what they need to do in order to be on your whitelist and to make some money from this thing. That's all people want. I used to have fun making those videos about how to do these things and what you could do to make a little bit extra money, and they make it really difficult to like tell people, okay, this is what you have to do. And then if I say the wrong thing, they come back to me, they're like, I didn't get my whitelist spot. I'm like, oh shit, I'm sorry. I mean, I thought that was what you needed to do, but the documents weren't really clear about it, right?
I know. So that's where it's like teams, I don't know what it is. Big brain, Albert Einstein type guys. Okay. That some of these devs and a lot of these different projects, they're not good at, breaking it down and making it simple and clean and easy to understand, and simple and clean and easy and simple and clean and easy. It's like numero uno. And if you can't do that, don't even do it. It's like, but it just doesn't, I don't know. It's like they operate on a different wavelength a lot of times. So it's interesting, actually, from a psychological standpoint. Yeah. Aren't they purposefully vague? Yeah. See, I was wondering if it was intentional, which would give me a little more of a red flag if they were purposefully vague about it. That to me is like, ooh, I don't know if I want to play here with these guys.
Yeah, the goalposts kept getting changed on us, which was shitty, right? It was like we should have known from day one. Here are the 3 requirements that you need to do: lock your LP, put it in here for over $500, and do this, and you're in stage 1, and you get a $500 allocation. But every time we'd ask, I think even on Sarge's podcast when we had him on the first time, we're like, so what do you have to do to get a whitelist spot? And then he was like, $500 in the alpha pool, or lock your LP for 4 months. And so we're like, okay, those are the 2 things that you have to do. And then all of a sudden it changed, like, oh, the more you put in and the longer you lock, you get a higher allocation. And I was like, oh my God, okay, I don't want to have to even guess about this anymore. So I'll just let you talk, and hopefully people can decipher it from your code.
Yeah. J-Dub did it all right, and he didn't get a spot.
Yeah, man, it's good to see Ben Force, baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I know he did mention about something not being gamed. So there was a reason why to be careful. And also I can tell he's sensitive to the SEC. So I could tell those things. Yeah, so I'm still giving him the benefit of the doubt. But as far as like, I was wondering, okay, are we going to realize that these APRs are massive after it's too late to get in to the pool? That's what I was thinking would happen. So, and did they do that part of it intentionally? I don't know. It's odd to me. The whole thing is just, it's one of the stranger launches of anything I've ever seen, I would say.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm still bullish on it though, actually. A lot of times these things come around, but then a lot of times we know from the past, a lot of times we find out things are shady and there's intent to be that way. I don't think that's the case here.
No, I don't think so.
Giving them the benefit of the doubt and all that, but
yeah, I think I told you guys. I mean, I've said it before, but when Trader Joe first launched, it was nothing on Avalanche, and I didn't even know it was an actual DEX. And I had all my LP and Pangolin, because Pangolin was the #1 DEX on AVAX, and I was like, Avalanche is doing this huge rush program. They're giving out millions of dollars to all these projects. Pangolin's going to be worth like $500 million, $1 billion. It's going to be like DeFi Kingdoms. It's just going to go crazy. So I had all these LP positions, and I was getting all these Pangolin tokens. Then all of a sudden, Pangolin was just going down and down and down. And Trader Joe which was like a couple of pennies, is going up and up,
Right.
and people were making like 10x, 100x, and I was just like, oh my god, I missed the right decks on Avalanche. Jeez, and I didn't. I was like so bummed out about that, but I was like, yeah, these dexes, you've got to get the right one, you've got to like figure it out, and then once you do, they have the tendency to just the number one dex on the native dex on the blockchain. We've seen it before. I mean, DFK is the perfect example to go from 0 to $1 billion in a matter of like 4 months. Holy crap, guys. That's nuts.
Right. Nuts. So, okay. One thing I'm curious, I want to ask KP, do we know how much jade has been burned? Why don't they include the jewel and crystal? Why don't they include the jade? Because crystal's about up to 10 million crystal burned. Did you know that? 10 million. 10 million.
It's nuts. Yeah, I don't know. I know that Dr. Zipper's got all of the details in the docs, and you can figure out exactly how much jade's been burned. I don't know what that number is either, but crystal's been burned on a much higher level because there's so many dark summons going on, and that's where all those offerings were. So people could just burn their crystal for the offerings to try to win Gen Zeros. So they were doing that and burning a ton of crystal that way as well. But yeah, 10 million crystal. I mean, that's still crazy to me that we're going to have these 4 power tokens with 250 million tokens each, right? So we're going to have basically 1 billion power tokens. Then you've got Jewel that's only going to be 125 million. So to me, Jewel should be 8 times whatever the power token is worth, right? And they should kind of like keep that, almost, pretty close throughout this entire. But then you got Jade that's like a third of what crystal is worth. And I'm just like, I mean, I know people aren't on Serendale doing a whole heck of a lot right now, but that to me is just strange. What are you guys?
That's where everybody's summoning. Everybody's summoning on Serendale except dark summons. And so there's a lot of jade being burned. I think a big part of the crystal being burned also is the offerings, like especially in the past when they had the Gen Zeros in there, 75% of that crystal was burned.
Yeah.
They don't have that on Serendale. They don't have boar hunts and stuff on Serendale like they do on Crystal Vale, which 15% of all that is burned and 15% of all the summons. So, I mean, that's why I said if I were to do 1 million summons, that would burn a lot of jade. That was part of my joke there. So, I mean, that would be tens of millions of jade burned just if we did 1 million summons over there. But I mean, I gotta imagine it's well into the millions amount of jade being burned.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now that jade's fully emitted too, it's like, okay, it's only going to be deflationary from here. That's the cool thing about crypto is the longer we're in it, the higher value it should be. So, Daggs is exactly right. Like this is the best time in all of, our DFK system to be summoning and to be creating these monsters, because at some point Jewel's going to be super expensive and probably Crystal and Jade are going to be pretty expensive too, but they're not going to have, you're not going to want to go out there and try to get the Dread Knight with double second life, because it's going to be thousands of dollars to try to summon one. And you're like, I'm just going to go buy his for 50,000 when it's going to cost me like $5,000. And I don't even know if I'm going to get one or not.
Exactly. So if there's ever a time to do it, it's now, because it's like for a few $100s, you can do a lot of summoning over there. A lot.
Yeah.
And so my strategy here is I'm creating a huge, massive monster pool of heroes that I plan on throwing in the pit. And I realized it just kind of hit me all the more. And I've got my Gen Zeros. I bought that other Gen Zero that was a good pair. So I'm summoning, every 3 days, 3 Gen 1 or 10 Gen 1 10 out of 10s, and find good pairs for those, like really good pairs for those. And then kind of what I realized is all my basic heroes with no advanced abilities, Gen 2s, I want to flesh those out and find good pairs for those. And then after I do that, after I create a big pool of these, then I'm going to flesh out my 8 of 8s, and then I'm going to flesh out my 7 of 7s that are basic heroes with no advanced abilities. And I'm going to flesh out my 6 of 6, 5 of 5s, all the basics, flush them all out, burn them, pit, summon them all out, pit them out. Then I'm going to go back and make perfect, awesome matches with all the advanced, like basic heroes, 9 out of 9, 8 out of 8, 7 out of 7 with advanced abilities, and flush all those out all the way through and get rid of all of them until they're all gone. Then I'm going to flush out all my basic heroes with elite abilities and flush them all the way out, all the way, all of them flushed, and also exalted abilities.
You're doing a lot of flushing here, Grady.
And flush them all out and burn them out and everything until they're all gone. Okay, so at some point I'll turn off the faucet. I still got the faucet going. Okay, and I'm well up over 1,000 summons, like maybe getting close to 1,500 summons over the past like 2 weeks. That's a lot. Okay.
Are you doing this manually?
Yes. All manually.
So why aren't you streaming this?
I will.
Like,
because
even if you go, I mean, honestly, I have a thing against YouTube streaming. Like, they don't have DFK, but if you go to Twitch and you type in DeFi Kingdoms, the game is there as one of the categories.
Hey, baby. All right. I love it. Yeah. So,
go ahead.
Yeah. Well, and so I'll be doing videos on it for sure. I've been giving some updates here and there, and then once I get all the basic heroes all the way flushed out till there's no more basic heroes, basically, then I'll start on my advanced heroes and start on the advanced 505 with no advanced abilities, flush all those out all the way down and get all the advanced heroes with no advanced abilities all the way fleshed out and gone and dead. Okay. Then I'll work to all the elite abilities and flesh them all out till there's no more. And just keep rinsing and repeating. Then, and then also exalted abilities. Get them all gone. Then I'm just dealing with Sages, Dragoons, and Spellbows and get all those fleshed out. And just keep rinsing and repeating.
Wow.
So
this sounds like the best time.
That's my
ever.
plan.
It sounds amazing.
And so I'll have just so
Daggs, are you up for a 48-hour stream?
I mean, maybe if I'll send my wife to like Disney World with the kids and both sets of grandparents. And just, sorry, babe, I gotta play DFK.
I love it. I love it.
God. No, that sounds awesome. I would love to just do that many summons.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
I mean, it's been wild how much my Jade lasts. How, I was putting some profits into Jade and AVAX pool at one point, and I would always just keep adding into that pool for a while. And at one point, I think it was up to 7 AVAX and however much Jade. It was a lot. And then when I pulled it out, it was 4 AVAX and a lot more Jade, because Jade dumps so hard.
Oh yeah.
And so, but that gave me enough Jade to do a gazillion summons. It was 50,000 Jade and 4 AVAX.
Definitely. Yeah.
And so
now that the Jade is that cheap, you've got to do it. I mean, it's just
right.
It's the best time to go out there.
Yeah, because
I did want to shout out Kupo. I see him in the chat. I forgot about the coffee. He did the coffee music with him and Sticks Intern and a couple other people are hitting the AI music generator hard, and it's cracking me up every time I listen to a new one. I mean, it's freaking awesome, guys. I love the community content. I don't know. Have you guys heard any of the Bolon Police yet, or Kupo's KUP K to the U to the P to the O?
Oh baby, no. Tell me. I want to know. Let's go.
It's not about telling. It's about you got to hear it.
Yeah, you got to hear it.
I haven't heard Kupo's yet. I heard a bunch of Sticks Interns. Actually, I was doing some cleaning, and I was like, God, I don't know how many times I can hear the word Mythic Squad while I'm scrubbing toilets. So I might have to. I'm starting to associate the things together. So But no, yeah, they're hilarious. And then I was
That's
talking to Sticks Intern about it. He said he writes his own lyrics for those, and then they add the music. So, I mean, he has a little more claim on it than something you would make in like Midjourney, for example. So, really cool, really cool. Mega said he wants to get in on that. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Man. It's crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah. But Bob, nothing. I just did the math real quick. If we did 1 million summons over there, and the average summon price maybe is 65 Jade. I mean, it's a lot more as you get into the higher classes and generations, and lower on summons. I do burn through the Jade a lot faster as these heroes, lower their summons. So, yeah, that's 65 million Jade. There's only a total amount of 250 million Jade, which some of that Jade is being unlocked through mining, so some of it is still locked. It's fully emitted, but like with Crystal, it's fully emitted and fully unlocked. But with Jade, not all the way unlocked yet, but still 65 million, Jade and summons means about 10 million Jade burned, so that's a lot.
I have an important question.
Yes.
When they're all at zeros, are you gonna wait until the end and they're all at 0 summons to make the best pairs?
Yes.
Or are you gonna do a tiered level zeros? Like when all the 5 of 5s are gone, you're gonna burn all those together. When all the 4 of 4s are gone, you're gonna.
No,
burn
I'm
all
just
those
creating a massive pool of 0 summoned remained heroes, and sometimes if it's a great pair and they're siblings, that you can't summon together, I'll just throw those in the pit if there's no like advanced abilities, just to get those out quicker and use the summons towards better rarity, because rarity is tough. It's the hardest thing, it feels like to me, in the game, is to have the rarity hit, man, on these. So
yeah. Let me ask you guys this question. If you could throw 10 heroes into the pit at one time and you had a little bit higher percentage to go with rarity or maybe one stat or something, would you do it?
Yeah.
You have to choose.
Yeah.
Rarity
it depends. It depends, but man, the rarity is the toughest thing.
I pick rarity over abilities.
So if you could throw 10 commons in, but you had a chance of getting like at least a rare, you'd do that?
No, I'm not doing that. I don't care about commons
depends.
or
rares. But having the option, I don't know about 10 commons with no summons remaining, and they're all basic crap heroes. Guaranteed a rare with a big escalated chance also for mythic or legendary. Yeah.
You do that? Okay.
I would consider it.
That's awesome. So what do you think about the new burn mechanic? I know that Hubert's alluded to it, but it hasn't like been spoken about really in depth, but he did talk about it a little bit, I think, on ADFK. He talked a little bit about it on Brovia's stream as well, if I recall. But there is going to be that new burn mechanic that's going to come in hopefully here in the not too distant future.
What new burn mechanic? What is it?
Yeah, you haven't heard more.
I've heard.
Wait,
I haven't heard.
Hold on. Woo! Here comes the
Alpha Police.
The Alpha Police.
I haven't heard what it is, baby.
So the new burn mechanic, they haven't talked about it. It's not been released yet, but it's going to be another burn mechanic for heroes. And, I think that Hubert's already talked a little bit about it. I don't know how much he said, but I just think that, once you found out that there is another burn mechanic and it's probably going to allow you to do something that you couldn't have otherwise done, would that make you want to hold on to those basic common zeros, 0 summon heroes more?
Possibly.
It depends on how they're used. Because if it's like, if I burn like 10 uncommons and then I have a chance at like, pushing the current, like if it's like you burn 10 commons and then one of your heroes, you have a chance at like their genetics pushing through to the next summon, I mean, there'd be a time and a place for that, right? If I already have, I'm more willing to burn my mythics with Giant Slayer if I know I can at least preserve a Giant Slayer. And if I can manipulate it so that like I'm pulling this Giant Slayer in passive 1 and the other Giant Slayer in passive 2, then yeah, I'm gonna hang on to those. But I also think that's a terrible idea, because then that drops the value and the occurrence of like that's gonna dilute these transcendent abilities if it's something like that. So
Yeah, I don't think in terms of the traits and the abilities that's going to be a locked in kind of thing. I'm just thinking more in terms of the class or the rarity. So,
okay.
maybe that would be the one thing. But yeah, I'm just thinking like, the whole key to all of these items that we've been talking about is that they're deflationary, right? So even with the eggs, guys, I mean, do you guys want to like give me your thoughts so far? I know that Beeve's excited because he's got like 2,500 pets out there, but now that eggs are like 10x harder to find, I don't know how many eggs I found in the last couple of weeks, but it hasn't been very many.
It's not hardly ever. I
Yeah.
used to get a gazillion eggs
So
all the
I've been
time.
going out
I
and buying
never
pets.
get them.
Yeah, you guys know that. I love going out and buying pets. When nobody's talking about pets, I go out and buy them. Are you guys buying any pets? Daggs, are you buying any pets right now?
I mean, I haven't been talking about it, but I've been.
It's been a while. I
I've been
was buying
sweeping the rare 3-star combat floor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a little while. Yeah, burn incentive that's not game breaking and Gen Zero cooldowns. See, here's what we don't understand, I think, as a community, is that if we so one thing I want to hit on again, and I'm going to keep harping on this. When you show somebody incentive, and that will be the answer. Who was that? Charlie
Munger.
Yeah.
Give me the incentive and I'll show you the result. Yeah.
I'll show you the result. Okay. When people don't see incentive to come in, that nobody's going to come in. I mean, not a whole lot of people. It'll be hard to get new people into the game. When the incentive's there, there's, when KP's out there doing videos about how many, and Effects is out there doing videos about how he's making X number of dollars, per month and all this and that goes a long ways when people hear, okay, people are making thousands of dollars doing this, different strategies. It's a huge, vast ecosystem and there's big incentive. People will figure out how to get into the game. They'll take the time, they'll sit down and make it happen regardless. Okay. But when isn't a glaring incentive, that's where I would advise the team, KP, to like really focus on making that top priority. Like, for example, not letting, I remember when eggs got down to $1, I couldn't believe it. I was mind blown. Eggs are all the way down to $1 per egg. Oh my gosh. And then it got all the way down. At one point, I think they kissed a penny. Okay. So it was like, they let that get way too far out of hand. It went too long. Is like needs to be careful attention because that's a drastic impact in the whole ecosystem as a whole. And so everything starts breaking down. That's why I was such a stickler on the dark summoning, some of the different mechanics, okay, and different things like with stones, because like different in-game economy things break down, okay, and then everything just tanks because when there's not heavy utility, of course, we know in the long run when crafting comes, and now that there's these, now that there's hunts where there's utility for the potions, it's a game changer, I think, for the items and game, all those things. So it's not the end of the world. We can get through it. But, making sure that, okay, there's heavy, incentive for all the different things, all the different angles you can do in the game. When all that breaks down, everything breaks down. Third-party devs close the doors. People get discouraged, leave the game. And then it just keeps breaking down. And it's like disaster central. So first of all, got to have a big, incentive. Money's being made in the game. Okay, when that happens, people will figure it out. And once all it takes 500 to 1,000 people getting in this game and buying heroes, look out. The heroes will absolutely, like, I can't even wrap my mind around it. There's not even enough heroes available for sale for that. Just even 1,000 people to come in and buy like 100 heroes. Not even close. That's like 1,000 people. That's 100,000 heroes. There's like 20,000 heroes available in the tavern, I think.
Right.
So it's like, by myself, I'll raise the floor of things all the time. Just me by myself, I'll raise entire floors of certain subsets of heroes. And we'll see that. effects came in and bought up all the whatever. It's like this happens. And so just imagine if 1,000 people come in. Well, just imagine if 10,000 people come in. You show them the incentive, okay, and everything just snowballs. Okay, you get those things going, and it's like, look out, boys and girls. So then you will never hear about a hero inflation problem again ever if that were to happen. Is my take. Yeah, we feel it now. That's because we've had a 99.99% exodus out of the ecosystem. Everything's going to tank when that happens. All the sell pressure, okay, that's going to happen. It's going to tank, and it feels like we got a hero inflation problem. It won't feel that way with just 1,000 people, let alone 10,000 people coming and playing the game. So even more than the game itself, I would say that is one of the most important aspects of the game is incentive to earn. Yeah. And some people, this is how it started with DFK. This is how it went from 0 to $1 billion market cap in 4 months. Was that very thing. It started with people getting into the liquidity pools and earning the gazillion APRs. And then there's a subset of those people that were like, okay, I can buy a hero and quest the garden and boost the APRs even more, and then there's a subset of people that were like, whoa, they're doing the contest where you can win Duel and do different. So then more people bought more heroes. Okay. And all the different things that were out there, and, subsets of people, so there's like 55,000 daily active users at the peak. And, a subset of those had a hero or two. And then a subset of those had a bunch of heroes, and a subset of those were all about summoning, so it's like, and that's how it'll be with the game. This ecosystem is so vast and so big brains that there's going to be so many different players with so many different strategies doing so many different things. We're going to have people crafting, and that's their gig is they craft weapons. We'll have people summoning. That's their gig. We'll have people wanting to quest and just have a ton of an army of heroes questing and selling items. And that's good. And then we'll have people just wanting to play the game, and all they do is come in and buy the best heroes to play the game. That's it. That's all they want to do. They don't want to do all that other stuff. It'll have all different kinds of people doing all these different things. That's what's so beautiful about the ecosystem, but it can't break down. Otherwise, it all breaks down. But it has to be focus numero uno. It's like, so yeah, there's my soapbox there, baby.
That's awesome. Daggs, what are your thoughts? What do you think the one top priority should be for DFK right now? Do you think it's reduced supply, or is it increased demand?
I really think they should just ignore it and finish the game. I really do.
It'll come organically over time?
I don't think it'll come organically.
Okay.
But I think there'll be I think there'll be changes once the game is done and people start figuring out what they really need, and then we can actually apply. We can do some data analysis and figure out like if things actually need to be done from there. But if you're wasting, I don't think you should waste resources on, trying to fix this problem right now. And some people are like, well, if you don't change the Gen 0 stuff and the Gen 1 summons, then this is just going to get out of hand. Maybe. But maybe you pull back from that. And it's like, I don't want to go making these sweeping changes, and then we figure out we're doing like level 30 raids, and we're like, God damn, this sucks. I wish they wouldn't have changed that mechanic.
Right.
They're pulling back on eggs, right? But then like Bolon like months ago was like, oh, watch out, like we're gonna have some crafting with eggs, and I know crafting's not even on the roadmap, right? But it's like, okay, did we just screw ourselves? Like, I think, and that's kind of weird for me because I'm like a really, what's the word? What's the opposite of reactive? Proactive? I'm usually proactive when it comes to problems. I always have a contingency plan. I always have like 5 contingency plans. But it's like, how can you make a like a long-lasting decision off of a 20% subset of the entire game being done.
Sure.
It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't think we should do anything about hero inflation right now. I think they should finish the game and then pull it back.
Yeah.
Or not. Or not pull it back.
Well, I've always felt too that people are looking at this as a long-term kind of goal to whatever it is they want to do, right? If you want to create these monster heroes, you're going to go out there and you're going to, now's the best time for you. You're having a great time doing the summoning. I wasn't having fun when it was like $1,000 to go out there and summon heroes because you were totally stressed out that you were going to get rugged and you end up spending a bunch of money and losing it because you didn't get what you were expecting. And now at least you come into the game and you can do those things. I do think there can be tweaks made here and there. I do think supply on some of these things is too high. It can be switched around or made a little bit differently so that it's more. I think one of the things that that Hubert spoke about a while ago is these level 10 quests, especially, they weren't made for every single hero to be able to go on them. So if you have a level 1 hero that you don't level up the entire time, but it hits level 10 for foraging or fishing or gardening or whatever, you were supposed to have to fight something or have to complete some type of a quest so that you couldn't go out there and claim extra rewards without being, a certain level, like level 5, call it, or even level 10. I think that should be more engaging in the game, is that as you get to these higher levels, you should get more rewards, right? You should just be able to like do things that you couldn't do at level 1. But I do also think that these scrub fights or, trash mobs or whatever you want to call them are going to be really good, because then people can come in with a level 1 hero and they can just fight. If they just want to go and do PvE all day long, they can just use their level 1s and go out there and do that. They don't have to go quest and go gold mine or gold gardening, which is pretty boring. I mean, you just lock your heroes up and come back like a couple hours later. Whereas if you're going out and fighting, at least it makes the game fun. You can come out here and spend a couple of dollars and go out there and buy some heroes and go do that. So that was the one thing I thought for people that are coming in. I just want to give them the easy entry. Like, here, go buy these 3 30-cent heroes and you can go and fight these, baby chickens or, whatever they are, baby snakes. And if you beat them, you're going to get, a reward. And that reward's going to be something different that we have right now, but it's going to allow you to do other things inside the game. They need to have that path. Right now, it's just hard for new people to come in because they don't have a path. They don't see like what they can do and what they can make money in. And it's just like, all right, how do you tell them like, oh, to get into DFK, you're going to come in here and summon these heroes together and you're going to want to create these monsters with amazing genes. It's like, oh my God, that's going to take like a week for them to figure it out. You want them to come in and just play it for a couple of days or a couple of hours even, and then be able to go do their own thing. But that's the one thing, is I want to invite new players in and give them that pathway to come and do something easy. And, if they do it, they get rewarded.
Yeah, for sure. I can tell you this. I've done my damnedest to try and get people into this ecosystem, but ultimately what happens is a lot of them, especially a lot of the people that know crypto and have been around the block, a lot of the influencers, a lot of the different people out there, they look at the charts and it looks bad. I tried to explain to them how brilliant and big brains the in-game economy is, but then they look at the charts and it looks real bad. And so it's hard to get people excited about it. That there has to be that, things like, where's the stone carver, for example, like stone carver for regular stones. I've heard a lot of people talk about it, and maybe even greater stones, and make it hefty incentive where more stuff's got to get burned, more tiers, more items, for all those different things. So yes, the game's important too. So I hope more resources are able to come from the Meta partnership. It's there. And so the team, can focus on getting the game out. I know that's a big priority for all of us. We want the game out. That'll help for sure. But also keeping a very watchful, careful eye and massaging, like fostering all the in-game economy things have to be, on point, so that things like don't go down literally 0.99999%. Like eggs went from $200, $300 down to 1 penny. It's like, ooh, man, it was bad when it went down to $1. Then it went down another 99% from there. That's like, that's rough. So when that's happening, it's new people coming to the game. It's like, okay, yeah, this is cool. But it's not like gonna get them buzzing and excited and tell all their friends about it, talking about it all the time, doing content on it, doing hyped up streams about it, super excited. It's just like looks bad, you know. And so it's like every single time I talk to different people out there in the past, like it was so refreshing. Dreamer was able to finally get through to George. I tried to get through to George for months, and then Dreamer finally really did get through to George, and we got through to Crypto Crow. That was big, and we saw what happened to Jewel. Didn't take much. Doesn't take much, but and goodness gracious, it was the rave. And so as they've done, like it was awesome. Now there is utility with these potions in the hunts, and hopefully we can really see when these in-game items, we can start doing videos on how they've 10x 20x whatever, like when tiers 50x, and it does create a lot of buzz. And in the bull market, that is just as impactful, if not more, than a game coming out. And so that needs to be like super carefully handled. Those things. That would be my biggest push and advice to the team. But regardless, I'm still bullish. Once we get crafting weapons in, it's like once that comes and traveling and lands and all, it's like game over. It's just going to be awesome. I can't wait when all that stuff gets done. Hopefully the team can get that done in a reasonable time now that they've got, more breathing room financially, hopefully, with all that. So
can I ask you something?
Yes.
People are complaining about hero price. People are complaining. Yeah, that's what this whole inflation thing is about. Hero price.
Oh, that they're not valuable.
Yeah. And then also you have people.
That just means it's time to burn them. Right.
Well, and then you have people who are like, oh, I can't get all my heroes to level 20. There's not enough mokshas. We need more mokshas. You just mentioned the regular stone crafting and greater stone crafting, and I almost left the stream. And it's like we have these expensive items like mokshas, greater stones, greater crystals, regular stones, and we complain that they're too rare and too expensive.
They're like it's aren't the greater stones just absurd?
They should be like we're complaining that we can't make money on this game, and then the things that we make money off of, people are like, they need to be cheaper. They can't be. They're so rare. Like it's like people.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, yeah, people would want to use them more if it was more available.
Don't you want to make money though? See, I would love if I had all
You're
these
telling me,
stones.
hang on, wait. You're telling me that if we could craft those and burn maybe 4x the amount, so there would be a lot more people, like, for example, effects, like when people are doing these dark summons, if greater stones were more readily available, for one, it would, all those items in game that we're questing for would have to be used to craft them. Right. And so it would just all of a sudden create massive demand for those items. There would be more usage and more availability of it. Because aren't the greater stones like crazy?
Well, what's happened to potion mats when potions got released?
Nothing too much.
So I don't think anything will happen if we have to use.
Yeah, but it comes down to there's not a whole lot of people doing the hunts every day. There's a lot more people doing dark summoning, mythic squad type stuff. Okay. And I've never used a greater stone ever.
So that does.
It's like I would. It's not that I don't want to, but I'm not going to spend. How much is it?
Honestly, if you did that, though, if you made greater stones and regular stones readily available, I think all that's going to do is drop down the value of those greater stoned heroes, and then it's going to drop down the bazaar price of the greater stones. And honestly, like, as awesome as it would be to burn like a ton of materials to make those stones, it really just makes those heroes and those items that much less special.
I agree, Dags, 100%. I
I
think
think it's
that
bad for the gameplay, as cool as it is for like, go ahead, sorry.
no,
Yeah.
no, I've always felt that you need to have that. You need to have that rarest of the rare item, be
Yeah.
that the Excalibur or whatever it is. We haven't even gotten to PvP yet, where everybody's going to want to
Right.
have an Excalibur.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to want to have the top armor, the top
Yeah.
weapons, the top combat pet. We see it a little bit in duels right now, but we haven't got to PvP where you can bet against each other and you could make a huge amount, right? It's just like these tournaments could be an enormous amount of money at the end of the day. And I agree with you, Dags, that I think that things should be more rare. I think most should be $5. I think it's
Yeah.
better for the game. It's better
Okay.
for the economy. It's better that we have higher prices on rare items than we do, the lower items. Sure, let them go to near zero, a penny, whatever they're going to be at. But if you can find those items, like I remember finding eggs and being like, holy shit, that just made my week. I just found a yellow egg. Those
Yeah,
are
like
super rare.
hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
You
And
And
you
we don't
still
have
feel
that
that
inside the
way
game.
about Greater Stones.
Yeah. Greater stones. If you could find though, like if you had the chance to find a greater stone from some kind of quest or some kind of hunt, I would totally go out there and send heroes to go do it. You
Good
could
with that.
definitely have, yeah, you could definitely have that kind of incentive. And plus we haven't even gotten to the item drops inside of PvP, right? I mean, what happens if you fight a battle and you
Yeah.
get some kind of really rare drop that is going to be different? Not that we want the whatever they call it, the creep that comes in when you get, better and better items every time there's a new type of battle. But I do think that you're going to want to have that super rare item. I thought that was going to be Excalibur. I thought that nobody's going to want to sell them, but now obviously people are trading them, and the value's starting to, it'll get to wherever it gets to. But once you've got people that are battling for a couple hundred or a couple $1,000s each time PvP, oh man, I just think those items are going to be like, so they're going to be money. I see Esper hoarding all these amazing things, Scally's eyes and Excaliburs, and I'm like, Jesus, man, the guy's never going to lose in PvP.
Yeah. I mean,
It would be awesome to burn millions of mats on like Greater Stones and stuff like that, but I think that's going to be crafting's job.
yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Which
If crafting were here, and if it is crafting going to take another year.
I'm so excited for it though. Oh my god.
And so we do have big problems if it is, and unless there is potentially more demand with potions, like with PvP coming and things, it worries me. I mean, greater stones won't even be a factor in the game at that point because nobody will be around playing.
And that's the other
Keeps
side.
going to
of it.
zero.
Yeah.
So that's my point. Nobody's going to be coming in.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to care.
And
At that
was
point,
my
it's
fault.
like,
I attacked one thing that you were saying instead of like the message that you were trying to get.
yeah.
Fix the charts. Fix the charts was the message.
Right. So
Sorry.
I'm very glad they did that with eggs, because it did feel out of whack to me that I was getting more eggs than Mashka runes. To me, that felt out of whack, so if Mashka, see, my point, KP, is like, if Mashka runes, it's like, to me, it's like gets out of whack when everything's going to zero except Mashka runes, or tiers. Like, it's like something's out of whack there. And then what happens? A lot of people, now as long as there's still people demanding those Mashka runes to level, and as long as there's still a few faithful like us using them to level, but at some point, a lot of people stop leveling. And then, if the sentiment keeps going down, then at some point, people just stop leveling altogether. And then Mashka runes also start crashing in the same direction. So there has to be the buzz, the sentiment. Okay. And so it's like,
yeah. Do you think, Grady, like if all of the materials, say everything right now that you got from questing was 100x harder to get, do you think that'd be better or worse for the economy?
I would say there has to be heavy demand.
But if you were just finding like maybe one item from every quest, and it was probably going to be a lower item, and it wasn't going to be like that. whatever. It wasn't going to be like the Swift Thistle. It wasn't going to be the,
Mhm.
you know, it wasn't going to be the, the fish that you needed for that potion. And only every 100th quest that you did, you actually got that item. And all of a sudden those items, just like tiers were worth a fraction of a penny. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden they came up to like 2 or 3 cents because they were
Right.
just harder to get.
Yeah, because he reduced the drop rate by 80%. And I remember that took about 6 months to shake out.
Yep.
Yeah, so I do think to answer that, yes. And then to create, I love what the change they did with eggs. Not only did they change the drop rate with eggs, but they raised the value of the pet egg, boost. So then it creates more demand for the pets potentially down the road when this shakes out. And as long as, so there has to be heavy demand for pets. There has to be, it has to be a no-brainer for even the people that don't care about PvP, that just have a questing army, a legion of questers getting items. You want to make it a no-brainer for them to have a pet on every hero, for example. Just like financially speaking, if that's their gig, having a legion of just questers, farming mats to sell, make it to where, on the dollar sheet, on the column, it's worth, you always want a pet, like, and so when that's the case, so these things, drop rates of eggs, oh, you want to have a pet, so when that shakes out, I could see eggs going way back up again, because just like Dewey War saying here, I hardly ever see eggs. It was crazy.
Yeah. What
It is
about you,
like a
Dad?
whoa
Dad,
change.
do you think if like all of the materials, so one of the thoughts that I had is that we should have level 0 quests that have certain items that you can get, and then level 10 quests that have more difficult items that you can get, just to kind of break it up a little bit, have it so that, the higher level heroes have a tendency to get the higher value things. But I don't know. I'm just kind of brainstorming here. If we made everything in the game, like, let's call it 90% more difficult to find, is that positive or negative?
And I mean, I'm gonna say what I said again. I mean, we're eventually gonna have scrub fights, so it's like when we have scrub fights. Well, I guess you'll still have a legion of people farming mats. Yeah. And I guess the only drawback from that would be like, um, your experience is based off of what items you find. So it would take heroes longer to level up too. Um, yeah, I and see, this is where it's like I'm not being like an investment or analytical guy. Like, I don't know like how much would it take to have an actual effect, right? It's like if you want to pay everyone $16 an hour at McDonald's, you only have to raise the value of something by everything on the item by 30 cents. Doesn't sound bad, right? But it's like what kind of is this?
What
We
is the
meant
effect
to,
that'll have?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, did we meant to make a splash and accidentally make a tidal wave?
Right. Right. And that can happen. So, but I do like the change with eggs for sure. Like they
Yeah.
need to be valuable, but it also comes down to utility and demand. So that's where I'm saying regular stone carver creates heavy demand for items. Like if you whatever 5x the amount of mats or that's required, or whatever things like that.
Mm-hmm.
We can debate that out. Maybe people don't like that idea because of the stone. I don't ever see heroes ever with stones when I mean, I've been buying up a lot of heroes in the tavern all the time here lately to make perfect matches and stuff. And I don't ever see, it's hard to see lesser stones used, let alone regular or greater stones. And it's like, yeah. And so, man,
That's because I don't sell them.
yeah. I mean, so I'm just looking at the big economy. And so when that kind of stuff happens and there's buzz happening in the game, excitement in the game, excitement for things going, and opportunity to make money, it'll be a hell of a lot easier to wake up all the Georges and crypto crows like we did and everybody else, but anytime I talk to a trader like Crypto Lifer or like Crypto Seth, there are all these different people that were talking DeFi Kingdoms, and they spend some time and take a look at the history and different things. It's like, yeah, this project's dead, right? This project die. Wait, it's still alive? Really? You mean there's a thriving team? Okay, what's the deal? Like something's not right here. Like anybody out there that looks at the charts, it's like, and so the game's got to be one hell of a game, to bring in the masses, but it's like, it's not like this is going to be a AAA rated game, right? It's going to be a big brains game. Yeah. Super, super big brains, which, like, by the way, we just watched this. There's a new anime called Leveling. Solo leveling. And man, it's got some DeFi Kingdoms vibes to it. Baby, I watched it with my kids over the weekend. And so that was fun. Forgot where I was going with that. But, you get the buzz going like we've already seen in the ecosystem in the past. That happened, because things were mooning, big APRs. It gets the sentiment running. See, to me, it's a once in a lifetime project that people just don't get it. They don't know. And, it's a once in a lifetime project. It's a big brains ecosystem. And so, gosh dang, it's just such a shame. It's like criminally undervalued when in my mind, the quality of the project is top 20, top 30, and the multiple billions of dollars of market cap in my mind. Like it's very possible. Like we've seen what's happened with things like, I always think, how the hell did games like Magic the Gathering take off like it did, for example? Well, it just did. It took off the way it did. Like, man, the DeFi Kingdoms is so much better than anything else out there. Like just from the in-game economy, all these different things. I'm saying, yeah, there needs to be some tweaks here and there, and that needs to be a big focus of the team, but it's light years better than anything else out there that I've ever seen by far. Any other crypto project for sure, like crypto gaming project, nothing's even close to the complexity of the NFTs, like the big brains of the genetics, the big brains of the skill codexes, that Workhorse and Hubert has made, and all those different things. It's like, this is like freaking criminal situation in my mind. It's like, come on.
Yeah. So, I see the PvP is not really drawing in a new necessarily, it's not gonna, it's never gonna be in that quote unquote AAA thing. I just don't know why people even say that. Crypto games and games that are on the chain are gonna be a certain, they're gonna be different than your typical, Diablo 4 or whatever it is that you're playing, your Halos. The games that you're going to play for fun are going to be, a AAA studio. They're going to be a studio that puts together these games that cost $100 million. And, they may or may not sell that much when it comes to their revenue. But when you've got a blockchain game, I just feel the community is a big part of it. And, I think a couple people were talking to me about voting and like being able to like say how we want the game to go. Mm-hmm. And I know that like we always have those conversations, all three of us here. And then like on Sarge's podcast as well, we just all get together and we say like, well, what do you think? This is what I'd like to see. This is, well, on on crypto games, you've got the chance to vote. Like we haven't had a vote in such a long time because of the whole thing with Halliday and all that stuff that's going on. But it was fun when you could actually go out there and vote. Like, what is it that you want to see? What kind of, do you want, Gen Zeros to do this? Do you want Lance to be? I'd just be happy to have a couple of votes where the community could chime in and say, we'd like this to happen. And then, okay, great. We're going to go in that direction. Not that there's going to be, a huge thing that's going to change game dynamics, but it's just going to be like, no, we'd really like to see crafting. Crafting should be the next priority before anything else. And therefore, focus on this. Okay, cool. we'll focus on crafting. But yeah, we haven't had that type of a community engagement that we had. It seemed like in the past, especially when they said, stake your stuff and you can vote on this. And I remember the first vote we did, it was like, cool, I can actually vote on what's happening inside the game. I love that. I mean, how do you guys feel about it?
Yeah, totally. And I do agree. I think the game, will make a big difference even on the utility of the items, because we'll have to have potions also for PvP. And I do think that will shake itself out some, as long as that demand is there to play the game. There's enough people doing it. And I think there already is, but it'll just, it's still new. The utility of the items for potions in PvE in these hunts is still relatively new. And so the original boar hunts, there was no potions. And so now there is. And I think that there's a lot of people, I think that had quite a lot of items saved up, but there might come a time when, it, especially with PvP coming, all these things will help. Crafting, is going to be such a game changer. But yeah, the first things first, we got to get this Coliseum done, and they're working hard at it. KP, do you know a rough guesstimate of a timeline before the Coliseum opens up for play? I remember the team said it wasn't really going to delay anything that they're already working on, because additional funds being allocated, they'll be able to put more work and attention on it now. And so hopefully it doesn't take too terribly long. But do we have a rough idea? Or is this like end of the year or a few months?
I think that precautiously, I would say Q3. So,
Okay.
You can take that from whatever it is that you want, but the whole thing about Metis is the timeline is all based on performances and milestones.
Mm-hmm.
So, the first part is solo fights, like private fights, private PvP,
Mm-hmm.
and then it goes into tournaments, and then it goes into player, you can create your own tournament. So you can make it however it is that you want it to be. So those are the 3 milestones that are involved with it. And so the first milestone is probably going to be Q3-ish, and then the other ones are going to be after, it'll probably be Q4, maybe Q1, but it's going to be like boom, boom, boom. And then PvP will be out. Hopefully all the classes will be released by then. We'll have 12 classes that are out. We have all the tournaments going on and all the other stuff that's going to be happening. That's when I think it gets fun. I think Jess alluded to it. PvP is not the end all be all, but it puts a huge, it just puts a big focus on like, oh, wow, this is a game. I can go out there. I've got these heroes that I've been, making into these beasts for the last 2 years, right? The one thing that people don't understand, what we've all been through, is that we've been making these, we've been thinking about these things. We've been crafting in our mind how we want our team to look, how I want our Legion to be for the last 2 years. I mean, people can't go in there and think to themselves, oh, I'm going to mix and match these heroes and get these gene pools the way I want them. No, it's like, I know that you and Daggs and Mega were all, you're doing your summoning over the weekend. It's just like, okay, I've got these 2 guys and I'm going to smash them together. And here's the perfect one. I want a giant slayer. I want this. It takes a while to figure out what it is you're doing in this game. And I think we've got such a head start. That's the big benefit to everybody that's been doing this for such a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I worry about Beeve marketing won't do anything if it just looks bad. The charts and things. There has to be that sentiment that takes off, like we just saw a few months ago. It's so weird. Somehow that died way down. When Crypto Crow and George was talking all about it, and everybody then started talking about it.
It did well for a while because everybody came out and bought Duel, but nobody got into the game itself and was playing it. So it was really hard to see when it was December, right? So it was that was the big kind of George got in, Crypto Crow got in, a couple of other people got back in, and they were all talking about it. And we saw just from people jumping in and buying Duel what happened. I mean, Crystal went up to 3 cents. Jade went up to 1.5 cents. And it was like, wow, okay. And it happened in literally a week, 10 days. And I was
10 days. Jewel went from 7 cents to 85 cents in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy, and I was like, okay, cool. This is how crypto works. But I think that for Daggs, who's out there and just summoning and doing this stuff right now, you don't want to summon when stuff's at like $1 or $2 for Jewel and like 10 cents or 20 cents for Crystal. I mean, then you're talking about a whole different ball game. Although it is nice because then people look at it and go like, oh shit, I could have bought a hero last week for 30 cents and now it's $3. That's pretty cool, right? I mean, that's the only positive I see from it is people will be talking about it.
Yeah. Like the sentiment. And then as people start getting it and wrapping their mind around it and all the utility and things comes, it's so vast. It's like wowzers with crafting, with the game itself, with summoning. I mean, just on summoning alone, so many people got so excited about it. And the last time, when it first mooned, that was the thing back then. And it's all in anticipation of the up and coming game, making monsters, and that was such a big part of it. And so it's tough too, because everything just takes a long time to develop. Everything. I mean, Alluvium's not even out yet. A lot of these, nothing's out yet. Everything takes freaking forever. Just look at Cardano. I mean, everything takes a millennia to develop. And so the team's doing their best.
Yeah. It was funny. I think on one of the Twitter spaces I was on last week, somebody jumped on and said, I really want to play a Web3 game that's an MMORPG. And everybody on the panel was like, it doesn't exist. He's like, you can't go and find something that's just ready to hop in and start playing game. Everything's in development. There's nothing really that you can necessarily do right now. So you've got to make your bets. You place your bets on what you like, what it is that you want. If you think Alluvium's cool, go play it. If you think Big Time's cool, go play it. If you like playing DFK, awesome, go play it. I mean, there's plenty of things for you to do to kind of be in early. I think too, we're all so early still. We always talk about like how it's been such a long time and, it sucks that we don't have like this or that or the other thing. It's been 2 freaking years. I mean, basically there was no game for the first 6 months. So, I mean, it's basically been 2 years of actually building out these heroes into something that we can use them and play with them. And now it's like, oh, it's here. We've got it. Now we want more. When's the next thing? Okay, let's get it done.
Right. Oh man,
once you've had a taste.
Sleepy. I think we're all sleepy. It's been almost 2 hours. Jeez, it's like I'm such the time warp, you guys.
I've been trying to cook up a double Giant Slayer summon for 56 minutes, and it just hasn't come together. I'm trying to get Giant Slayer to get to that top percentage in the summons, and it keeps getting on the second row. Yeah. I've been trying to cook over here, and it's just I can't even get the oven lit.
I saw you. I thought you were battling. I thought you were boar hunting.
Oh no! Yeah. I would I can look for heroes and engage. I can't hunt and engage at the same time. So I didn't want to drop the quality of the stream.
Well, man, this was a good, needed conversation. I think so. Ultimately, we know the team is out there grinding, pushing through a bear market. Dreamers out there making connections all over the place. By the way, talked again with Dreamer and George today, had a meeting. I think it's a go. I think as soon as this week, we're going to be doing a Cryptos RS Plus IFC Karate Combat series, weekly show inside the pit, baby.
Nice.
And we're going to be getting all the big influencers on, and so that's bullish for DeFi Kingdoms too, that Dreamer's out there. And as people just keep connecting with him, that goes a long ways.
Yeah.
That's
these
sponsorship
deals have been really big. I mean, Dreamer has really worked his magic with some of these, and to tell you guys behind the scenes what Zipper and Hubert put together with the rewards program, now having the ability to get tokens like sponsored to us on any chain. It could be Ethereum, it could be ZK Sync, it could be Arbitrum, Avalanche, obviously, Hedera. Solana, whatever, right? We can get sponsors, we can get Dog with Hat, we can get any type of sponsor that wants to come in and put put a Visi together in the ecosystem and do this entire thing. And now they've got a precedent too, where we're continually ratcheting it up. Like the first Karate Combat was like $12,000, and now Big Red is $25,000.
Right.
And then the next one's going to be 50, and the next one's going to be I mean, in the middle of a bull market, people are going to want to advertise any way that they can. And when it comes down to it, it's like, wow, these sponsorships are really beneficial. They get an NFT inside the game. They get to give away their tokens to a bunch of Web3 crypto guys. They get us to ape into projects that we otherwise wouldn't have know about,
Yep.
We're just like, oh, cool. I'll go get some of these tokens and see what this project's all about. And it's a big deal because people spend I was talking to somebody today, like, can you imagine buying a Super Bowl ad and spending like $10 million for 30 seconds and hoping that it does well? Here you're getting in front of a bunch of Web3 crypto guys that have got money for a pittance, and you get a chance to get the best marketing you possibly can for your dollar. So yeah, it makes sense. And I wanted to give kudos to to Zipper and to Hubert and to Sun Bear especially too, for making some of those partnerships work. They're out there. They're working their butts off to make sure that there is, because Brown Gent always said, right, if there's no new money coming into the ecosystem, basically we're all playing against each other. It's a zero-sum game. But when these sponsorships come in and it's like $50,000, $100,000, it's like, oh, cool. We've got all these things coming. Even if it's the same player base, we've got a bunch more money coming in. It's great. We all get Clay tokens. We get Big Red tokens. We can cash them in for Jewel or Crystal or Jade if we want to, but at least there's new money coming into the system.
Yeah, it's huge. And even things like the Vizzies, the Doug Hype, and then eventually we'll have a George, we'll have a Crow, we'll get a lot of these big influencers. I think that's genius. Things like that. It will, the team is on the right track. So, and you just heard it on the AMA last Thursday. They seemed like they're such at peace with how there is a subtle confidence the team had that just gave me a sense of peace about the direction, the vision. So they're doing a good job. I mean, they're doing better. What else is doing better?
Good place right now with the, with the Metis thing going on, PvP around the corner. Hubert's back this week too, so he'll be on the AMA answering all the gaming questions and stuff. So yeah, everybody's in a pretty good spot right now. I think the development's going well. Sachet's kind of overseeing the entire project cycle and making sure that things happen on time and get done accordingly.
Right.
It's just it's with Fox getting duels out now too. It just opens them up to doing a couple of other things, and it took a long time for it to happen, but finally it's here, and it's like great. It just frees up some of his time now to go and do other things.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what can someone tell me a project that's doing better? I want to see it. I mean, seriously, they're not perfect. They make mistakes. They made mistakes, but who else out there is doing better?
There isn't. Guys, I was so shocked when we went to the game developer conference up in San Francisco and got a chance to sit down with Shrapnel. They had literally 25 biz dev people in that Avalanche gaming section for their Shrapnel demo, which was like one day at the Avalanche booth, and they only get to play Shrapnel for 72 hours every month. So 3 days out of the month, you can alpha test Shrapnel, and that's it. And we're like, so when is your game launching? They're like, maybe next year. Yeah. And so we were like, dude, really? And they're like, they have all of these people and all this money and all of these influencers saying like Shrapnel's the greatest thing. And I don't know, it might be, but they're not even launching a game until next year. It's like, okay, I guess that, you're right, Grady. There's not a whole lot out there that you can compare DeFi Kingdoms to, as long as they keep shipping and things keep progressing, and they have been. I mean, everything's been on as close to on time and under budget as possible. There hasn't really even been a budget. So now that there's a budget, it's like, oh, great. Yeah, we can get this stuff out. We can,
Right.
we can continue to work. That was the biggest thing for me, was like, oh my gosh, you don't know if the project's going to go away. Like, people are going to run out of money. And now it's like, oh, okay, there's a runway now where we can look forward to, like, okay, it's not going to just completely shut the lights off and, be done. It's like, okay, great. We're going to be around for a while.
Yes. It's huge. Yeah.
I have seen some games though, Grady. I don't think they're fully on chain like DFK, so it's not like the depth. But there's this guy Jack who got in like an argument with Bolon in our Discord.
Okay.
and he, like, after that, I love Jack. He's like one of my favorite jewelers, but he was pretty steamed after that argument. And he sent me like 6 games, and like there's this one game where you have like a floating base, and that's your NFT, and you build it with like a team, and then you go around this world and you attack like other NFTs, and it kind of reminds me of like Rust with like an airship, and like there are some games out there. It's just the ecosystem is so large that it's damn near impossible to get full exposure. Like, I'm gonna say a curse word right now. He's talking to Slow Mad, and I was like, dude, if I shouldn't be playing DFK, what should I be playing? And he listed off like 10 games, and they all seemed pretty solid.
I've seen a lot of them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know there's lots of games. I mean, tons of games out there.
But it's like not. I feel like DFK is like fully on chain. They have the full ecosystem items, NFTs, embedding NFTs onto other NFTs, and then being able to bridge them. Like,
yeah,
this is
when
insane,
I say
nobody
show me,
knows it.
Okay, who's doing better? What I mean is, which team out there is performing better than DeFi Kingdoms? That's translation of what I mean. Show me a team that's doing a better job than this team. Yes, they're not perfect. Yes, they made mistakes.
Yeah.
Show me a team that is better than the team at DeFi Kingdoms.
Yeah, and I'm agreeing with you. Yeah,
performed.
Like the stuff they're doing is mind-boggling, and it's just we're at 13 cents.
I know, right? That's what's mind-blowing to me. So anything, of any project, not even in other games, I mean any project in crypto, show me a team that's does the weekly AMAs, that has these big brains tokenomics, that's, burning mechanisms, utility for the tokens. Show me a team that has, that is careful, as, just well done as this. Show me a team that's doing better in all of crypto. Show me. That's my point. That's the point I was making. Not just gaming projects, all crypto projects. I'm all about, there's other good teams out there. I'm drawing a blank right now, to be honest. I know there's other good teams out there. I'm not saying they're the only good team. But it's like, I can't think of any that is better.
Yeah.
I really want to know a team that's better.
The one thing that I always think about too is that, there are other games out there, and I know Slowmad does a lot of research, and a lot of people like find other games like NFT floating games and whatever it is, whatever your bag is, you can probably find it. But do they have a Dex? Do they have NFTs that have utility that level up? Do they have, NFTs that you can connect to each other? Do they have ways to increase the value of what your in-game items are? Can you burn 3 things to get 1 and be able to use it inside the game? It's just it's the things that I think that most games don't do. Like even these first-person shooters like Shrapnel, I'm like, that's really not a Web3 game. Yeah, they might have a token. You might have some NFTs in there, but there's no real way to actually play the game in such a way that it's on chain. You have to be playing the game, and then what? You stop to sell your items in a marketplace? I mean, that just sounds like a real traditional game, like a Web 2 game to me, where they threw in a marketplace that allows you to sell stuff. But to have a game that has that game loop, that full, from beginning to end, you mint your own NFT, you mint your own hero, you combine the heroes, they become better heroes, all these things that like other games have probably will never get to or couldn't do. I'm just like, wow, there's no competition for DFK other than DFK. So it's like, yeah, we all know what we got into, and we're here because of the reasons that, it is really cool tech and they are doing really cool things. But yeah, if the rest of the world wants their whatever it is that they want, different game, because they think it's got more potential, fantastic. They all have potential. I mean, DFK's got a lot of potential. It's just so undervalued, I think, in everybody's eyes right now compared to what it could be. I mean, when it was $1 billion, it had nothing, and now that it's at 20 million, it's got a lot more. So it's like, okay, something has to reverse at some point. It has to revert to the mean. And so that's what I think will happen. And I think we all think it'll happen. The NFTs that we've got, the items that we've got, the things that we've been building for the last couple of years will have a ton more value to them. And that's the exciting part, is that, yeah, it might happen, in 6 months, it might happen in a year, but it's probably out there where we see a completely different market than we did a year ago. And, that's the cool thing, is that we've made it this far. And our community is so small, Grady, just like, if we weren't 500 or 600 people and we were 5,000 or 6,000 people, we wouldn't have this conversation either. It'd be like,
I don't think we're 500 or 600, man. I don't know if there's even 100 or 200 like super hardcore people anymore. It feels like it really has dwindled. Now, I have heard recently some people are waking back up.
Yeah.
Coming in. I have heard that. But man, it's like, that's what's so discouraging. So I would love it if there was 500 or 600 daily active users of actual real people.
Yeah.
Type thing. Now, Sandbox, I haven't heard. I would love to get Just in the house. We could talk Sandbox. I used to be bullish on Sandbox. I don't know what to think now.
I don't either. The chat just went crazy. But Skiller, glad you're here.
Skiller, baby. Okay.
iOS Code knows what he's talking about. I always, whenever I have a question, I just defer to iOS Code. He knows. He's way ahead of the game.
Yeah, baby. So, anyways, okay, this was a great chat. Let's end it. Anything else? I'm bullish on this Big Red partnership. I'm bullish on all the stuff Dreamers out there doing. I'm bullish on the team, the connections, the Metis stuff, the Coliseum. I'm bullish on crafting coming in a year, hopefully. Oh gosh, that'll be right. When Mania is happening, probably a year-ish from now, or so, give or take. So,
yeah, we're in 2020 right now. We haven't even hit 2021. That's 2025. And that was when things hit their all-time highs last time. So if history rhymes, then towards the middle of 2025, end of 2025, we'll probably see the peak. And then 2026 will be back to, 20-cent summoning.
That's hilarious.
Daggs, did you find that double giant slayer yet?
I stopped looking.
Rock, yeah.
I was trying to avoid the tavern, but it's inevitable.
I love you, Kupo. Love you. This is a great community. I'm so glad. I mean, most of these communities out there have died, in a lot of these games. I've seen so many of them. I mean, hundreds. I've seen hundreds of games die. Go to zero.
Yeah.
Hundreds. So I'm thankful for this DFK community, the fam that's still strong. A lot of people are weary, and we've seen a lot of people go. It always bums me out. Instead of what it deserves is all the hype in the world. And this should have thousands of people in this ecosystem, and it should just be thriving on so many different levels. So
we'll get there. It's people like you, Grady. It's people like you, Daggs. It's it's the guilds that are out there. It's the, the mythic squads and the ADFKs and everybody else that I always forget. But yeah, it's just, everybody who does these and enjoys it and has fun playing. I mean, I'm with you, Daggs. If Grady would do a 48-hour stream where he just mashed together 2,000 heroes to try to make, Exalteds, I'd be like all for it. Let's do it. I mean, I had fun on Matty Pesks and Wowie's like make a 12-hour stream. That was cool. We need to get like a big group, you know, going through. You don't have to do it for all 48 hours, but we could just rotate around and have this amazing like summoning stream where everybody's like, what the hell are they doing? Oh yeah, we're just summoning for 48 hours straight. We're just trying to get exalted heroes.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I do think sooner rather than later, I'll be doing, I'm guessing, a 2 to 3 hour long video of walking some brand new person all through the game, but just me talking. And I'm going to do it live just to get it out there. So I can say, look, to someone who's serious that really wants to go all in, I can say, here you go. Like, and actually trust that they can just go all in. To a Crypto Crow type guy when he came in. Like, here it is. And through the summoning part of it and the pets and stuff. And then introduce them into the game and leave it at that. And maybe we could do a separate one on the game.
Hey,
but
before
it's
you
like,
end
man,
chat,
it's just so hard to like edit and do a real good. Like, I wanted to do that 10 series video. It's like, man, it just is hard and takes time. I hate editing but hey, I can sit here for 3 hours and crank that out. I know that. So
it'd be
it's
hard
like,
to commit to a 48.
I should have done that a long time ago, I think. Okay. Love you guys. Peace. Skiller, you freaking legend. Baby. Big
Hold
Red.
up. Hold up. Can you click away the shared chat so Beef can see what guild I'm repping today? Oh, there we go.
Baby. Beeves Mythic Squad.
There you go, B for you.
He's starting his own guild. It's
That
still
guild-
called Mythic Squad.
That
but
guild
it's not the
definitely
same.
slaps. Yeah, that's a slap happy guild right there.
All right. I love you guys. Daggs, KP, and Crypto Grady out. Love you guys. Baby.